I also wanted to say that there's some people in which case, like I was saying, that they're so sick, so ignorant, like you try to tell them, hey, you need to change your way of being. Hey, you need to focus. Like I was in your phase. Like I know what phase you're in. You know, I know what phase you're in. You know what I'm saying? This is what you need to do to better your personality, because this and this and this and this is wrong with your personality. And you could see it from afar. You know, you try to explain to a certain group of people, let's say your neighbors, or let's say friends, or let's say family, or let's say, your the people you work with. Um, And if you go to work, your how would you say it? Your working partners, whatever. And so if you try to tell them, because I mean, this is like a secret. When somebody tells you a secret, the first thing you want to do is you want to tell everybody. I don't know if anybody's like that, but I can't keep a secret. I have to say it. I have to say it. It's just in me. Like I just can't. Like you know what I'm saying. I want to tell somebody. I want to tell somebody that's the way I am, and this is the way this is. And you want to tell everybody. And how would you say it? There's just some people that just they get impatient. Like it's like reading the Bible to somebody. They don't want to hear it. They don't have no tolerance for it. And so it's like, what's up with these people? Like, how is it, like, as a doctor, how is it that you're able to help them when they don't want to? They get frustrated. They get and once they get frustrated, after they get frustrated, they get pissed, they get mad. And you don't want to see that happen, because after that it gets physical. They can't tolerate reading the Bible, literature. They don't like. No, what they like is listening to aggressive music for an entire lifetime. Like, I'm going to listen to these 200 songs my entire life. And you can't get them past it. You can't convince them. You can't, you know, help them in any way, because they're so ignorant that, what do you call it, that they don't understand. And how can you help them? There's drug addicts that die being drug addicts, and it happens every day. How can you help them? I want you to answer me that. And so, because they're like plants. Each individual is like a plant, and what these plants need is water and a whole bunch of it. What they need is water and a whole bunch of it. And what do you call it? And they could survive with very little water. But the plant is never gonna look in the best state. It's always gonna look, depressed, lacking of water. And so it's never gonna look in its good state. And there are some plants that don't want. I'm translating. I write this in Spanish so I could go say it in the group. So I read the book in Spanish. I write down the notes in Spanish, and then I have to translate it as I'm making the video. That's why I'm kind of stalling a little bit, because it's in Spanish and I'm trying to translate it at the same time. I don't have much time, and I'm like, I'll just do it real quick. But that's what I do. I take those notes to the group and I talk it out in the group. But what I was saying is that there's some plants that, how would you say it, that that require to better their character. You know what I'm saying? They require, but they don't want to. They don't want to better their character. They don't want to. And you know why? Because they're happy the way they are. You know what I'm saying? They're happy the way they are. They're happy with their life. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. You can't help them. They're the drug addicts. They're happy doing drugs. That's what they like. And if it leads to death, they don't care. I've seen it with my very eyes, man. People that come back, people that come back from the doctor and they're like, "Hey, what happened? You've been smoking crack for a while. What happened? What did the doctor tell you?" He says, "If I keep smoking, I'm dead in about 3 months, 5 months, 8 months." They give them a certain time. I know a lot of people over there in the States, a lot of people do drugs. Not so much here in Mexico, but over there, there's people that like they're not like they don't look like drug addicts. They're like normal people that get hooked on it. And so it's like really weird, and then you ask them, "Hey, what did the doctor tell you?" Right? He says, "I'm gonna die in about 8 months, 5 months, 4 months." And they keep doing it, and they keep doing it. And so there's some of them that they don't want to, that they're happy the way they are, and they'll be like that. I mean, how if you're to think about it, how often has this happened over and repetitively, year after year? People living the same lives in different sequences. And so that's what I wanted to say, that there are some plants that are happy the way they are. Period. And the majority of these people, like there's some people that are like, they're not, how would you say it, aggressive. Some drug addicts are not aggressive, but the majority of them are. You know, the majority of them are. They're aggressive and negative. And if you try to help them, and if you try to help them, like if you try to help them in any manner, like uh, if you're to go over there to these people and try to help them, like you go. I was in this homeless shelter where they would go out to this park. It was called Alameda in Monterrey, in Monterrey. And so there's this park called Alameda, and it's very big with big trees, and you know, there's people that come to the city from different parts of the country. They go to Monterrey, they work there. I don't know, they find a job, I think online or something, and then they once they waste all their money, and once they start drinking and they waste all their money, they end up in this park. And I always say that's the best opportunity you could help somebody when they're down and out, when they have no money, because you can't go into a bar. You can't go into a bar where people are drinking and try to preach about God. They're gonna they're gonna beat you up. And it's the same thing with people that are in their comfort zone, with people that have what they want. You can't convince them. You can't convince them. You can't talk to them about God because they'll beat you up. They don't want to hear it. And you could go ahead and put what I'm saying to the test. Like, just continue talking about God. Don't get escalated. Don't let it lead to an argument, just talk about God and continue to talk about God in a certain tone, and watch how they'll get pissed. Watch how they'll get aggravated. And so you can't help them. Their negativity is so intense that they'll end up affecting you, whether it's in a conversation, escalating, getting mad, getting agitated, you know, or a different situation, or any other different situation. You know what I'm saying? It'll only get negative, and it will only affect you. People that are like that have what they want, that are living the life that they want to live, that are in sin, you can't change them. You can't argue with them. You have to let them be. You have to let them be. So then, respect each and every phase that people are in. Like, respect the person and respect the phase that are in, and treat them according to their phase, you know, according to their phase, according to what type of personality they have. Treat them in that manner. That's what I wanted to say.